Hi, welcome to becoming a member of Interstate Passport, the role of registrars and institutional researchers. I'm LaDawn Miera. I'm an assistant registrar at Salt Lake Community College and the registrar consultant for the Interstate Passport.
And I'm Michael Torrens, the Executive Director in the Office of Analysis, Assessment, and Accreditation at Utah State University. We're both the institutional researchers and the accreditation office for the university. There are 4 videos available as part of the Becoming a Member video series, and today we'll be covering the role of registrars and institutional researchers. The Interstate Passport is a national program that enables the block transfer of lower division general education attainment based on student learning outcomes rather than on specific courses and credits. But it's so much more. The Passport provides multiple benefits to students, including the achievement of an early milestone of completion, which can encourage persistence and retention. It avoids unnecessary repetition of learning that's already been achieved, saving students time and money. It enables students to know in advance that transfer of general education requirements will meet all the lower division requirements at network member institutions. And it enables students to earn a meaningful credential, a milestone on the path to their degree that can have value in the workforce. At Utah State University, we've found that the strongest benefits for our students have been around retention and completion of our transfer students. However, it also provides a way to simplify the transfer process. You can use it to recruit students. As we said, it marks an early milestone of completion, a foundational credential. It helps with graduation and retention, provides faculty curricular flexibility, and tracks academic progress post-transfer for students for continuous improvement, which I'll talk about later because that's data that we really haven't had before. In this video, we're going to cover the role of registrars and institutional researchers. Our responsibilities include awarding students who have earned the passport and notifying them of the accomplishment, reporting student completions to the National Student Clearing House, recognizing incoming transfer students with a passport as having completed their general education requirements, tracking and reporting students' academic progress who transfer in with a passport, reviewing annual reports on former students' academic progress for continuous improvement and quality assurance. Registrars and IR folks worked with WICHE and the National Student Clearing House to develop the student tracking system for the passport, and that includes 3 major components: passport completion, reporting, PassportVerify, and academic progress tracking. As a part of your sign-up, it's very important that you sign the National Student Clearing House Amendment to Core Services Agreement to provide passport services so that these reports can be completed successfully. LaDawn?
Yes, for passport completions, you will want to make sure that you're adding the Interstate Passport to your record system. Once the faculty have created the passport block, which is a menu of courses and learning outcomes by which a student can achieve the passport, and it also, this could be identical to your institution's general education or core program requirements. It could require an additional course or 2 to meet all the passport learning outcomes. Typically, it's 30 to 38 semester credits or 45 to 54 quarter hours. Once that's been identified, you'll want to figure out how you put that on your record. These are examples of passport blocks. On the left-hand side, you will see 3 of the 9 knowledge and skill areas. So these are examples from the University of South Dakota and the University of Arkansas Community College. You can see at the university, there's many more options for a student to obtain those knowledge, skills, and areas. But once these have been identified, you can then program them into your system. If you link down below, you can see every block from every member institution. It's incredibly important that one of the factors for students who are earning the passport at your institution have a minimum grade of C or higher to count towards those passport awards. For example, we have a certificate of completion for general education at our institution. However, a student could complete that with a grade of C- or a D, D+, D-. So make sure when you are programming this into your system that the students have earned a grade of C or higher. Also, when recording the passport, this is important that it's in a prominent place on your transcript, and we recommend that it's recorded as a comment type. You can also record it as a credential if that's how it's been decided at your institution. The verbiage that we recommend is Interstate Passport, LDGE for Lower Division General Education, and the semester in which the course, or excuse me, the passport was completed. Some institutions choose to put an actual date. That is up to your institution. Okay, so once you've identified students who've earned the passport, you should notify them after the term who has earned the passport. These are, again, recommendations to do one, or maybe you can incorporate a couple of these options by sending them an email, a special document or letter. It could be a credential on your transcript, or it could be programmed automatically into your degree audit system and the student is notified that way. For example, at Solid Community College, we send them email notification after it's been awarded. In addition to that, we have made a notation on our transcript key that directs students to the WICHE Passport website if they would like more information, to see other member institutions and to find out what this credential means to them. Also, once you're done with awarding the passport completions, you'll want to send the National Student Clearing House a passport completion file. You can link, on this slide, you can link to the website for National Student Clearing House. It will give you the file formatting and submission guidelines to report students who've earned a passport at the end of each term. It's also incredibly important that you do this as early as possible so that if students transfer and they're ordering their transcripts, that it is documented on their transcript. So this will probably be an additional part of your end of term reporting at our institution. We do have to do a manual component with transfer students to validate those C grades. But again, it's important to have it noted so that when students order their transcripts, it's being sent. It's being noted, excuse me. And then PassportVerify. So another important step is to verify your incoming students who have come in with a passport. This can be done a couple of ways. You can send National Student Clearing House a PassportVerify file of the students who transferred into your institution. This can be done at the beginning of a term or whenever you need the information. The Student Clearing House will return the file noting which students have earned the passport, at what institution, and when it was awarded. Therefore, this is another incredibly important point, that as member institutions, it's not only important that you're documenting the passport on a student's record, it's important that you're submitting these completion files. Otherwise, the verification won't be helpful to other institutions. Academic progress tracking. Once we've recorded the passport in the student information system for incoming transfer students, for academic progress tracking, at Solid Community College, we are a banner institution, so we document this in SOAPCOL. So you'll want to work with your incoming transfer office to find out where it's best to document this information in order for institutional research to grab this information for their reporting. It's also necessary so that the degree audit can recognize that the lower division general education requirements have been met at your institution. As I've said, it's important for academic progress tracking. And you should enter both the passport award date and the institution that awarded it. Again, that's why we use SOAPCOL. We can attach it to the institution where it was received. We've created a passport as a degree credential and documented a term date in that way. Michael, do you want to continue?
As an institutional researcher, one of the things that I've been most excited about with the Interstate Passport is the academic progress tracking. It's one of the trickier elements to report because it includes sending the National Student Clearing House grades for transfer students for at least 2 terms after they transfer, and also for your native students who've earned passports for those same 2 terms after they earn a passport, so that there's a baseline. So we have a pretty good community of PeopleSoft and banner institutions who can help in terms of the programming that's required to be able to generate these files. But once those files are generated and sent to the National Student Clearing House, that information becomes available to you. So if you can imagine, each institution receives annual reports on the academic progress of their former students. So normally, we can only pull down from the National Student Clearing House whether a student is still enrolled or graduated. But now through the Passport program for our Passport students, we can find out what kind of grades they earned in aggregate for the 2 terms after graduation. So we can see the success of our students. And even more important than that, perhaps, we have access to raw files that have all the data for our former students so that we can create custom reports on a whole host of dimensions: first generation, gender, race, ethnicity, Pell, GPA, whether they were a military veteran, their age, average credits, degree, and major. And we found that very helpful in sort of understanding how our students are doing post-graduation, which before we entered the Passport program was not information that we had available to us. In addition, academic progress tracking provides an annual report to the Passport Review Board, and this is a very important accountability measure. The PRB is a policy-making body, and they review the aggregated results of the Passport annually to make sure that the program is effective. So one of the things that we're doing as we sign up for the Passport is we're taking a bit of a leap of faith that the general education that's being provided, the outcomes that are being provided by other institutions, are going to enable students to be successful at our institution, even though we didn't instruct them in that general education. And the Passport Review Board has a very important role in sort of reviewing to make sure that that's happening. I'm pleased to report that so far we're really seeing that this is true, that past students transferring with a passport are very successful. So far, we've had 472 students transferred with a passport who were reported out through academic progress tracking in the last academic year. And as you can see, the average GPA of those who transferred with a passport was actually slightly higher than those who had earned a passport and remained at the same institution, and quite a bit higher than those who transferred without a passport. They're also earning large amounts of credits, and we're starting to see success in terms of graduation of those students as well. So that's something that I've really been happy to have access to, the academic progress tracking data for myself and for USU students. And I encourage you to work hard on making sure that that reporting can happen. And when you need help, you should turn to the community that we have, because there is, as I said, usually some programming involved. You have to involve the IT folks to generate those files. So finally, there is a development and implementation checklist that needs to be filled out. And as registrars and institutional researchers, we have an important role in that. You'll see the links on the checklist, which will provide you the National Student Clearing House file specifications for both the Passport completion, PassportVerify reporting, and also the academic progress tracking verifying. And as I mentioned, the community, we have access to scripts and other resources that can ease that process for reporting. And please feel free to make use of folks like myself and LaDawn who are available to help. And we also have some IT folks involved, which is always helpful. Thank you so much. LaDawn?
Yeah, thanks everybody. And again, please reach out to us if you have any questions.
Take care.